Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all. So here we are. It's 2022. I can't believe it. Very exciting. All good things happening. So we are going to do a live channeling today, obviously. I know there's lots and lots of new people who are jumping on for the first time. So welcome to our community. We are starseed beings of light who are spreading love around the globe, and we're excited to have you with us. So my name is Kelly Kolodny, and I've been channeling the angel Raphael since 1989 when the harmonic convergence happened and I was a college student. So I guess I'm giving away my age. And it has been quite an extremely powerful and magical journey. And we are in the thrust of an evolving and shifting consciousness in this very now moment. And so we are all coming together as beings of light and love to birth a new consciousness and to bring in a new earth based in unity. And that is really the objective here. And that's why we gather together every Sunday at 2 o'clock. And each Sunday we do something different. Sometimes we open your pineal gland with an activation. Sometimes we talk to an ascended master. And today we're going to tune into the vibrational signature of the year 2022, what it means, what we have to look forward to, and how you can harness that energy to bring in whatever you want to create in your life and for the planet as a whole. So very exciting. We're going to be working today with the Archangel Metatron, who I have worked with over the years on and off, a very strong and deeply powerful being, intense. And as many of you who work with me regularly know, sometimes when a new being comes forward, it's basically Raphael's energy coming and kind of translating for that being. If it happens to come in, you might notice a change in my energetic field. When I channel, I close my eyes, I rock back and forth, my hands kind of move all over the place, and Raphael comes in and says, hello. And when that happens, all of you need to say hello back wherever you are at home. Even though I cannot hear you, that creates an energetic connection between you and the angel Raphael. And that alone, just being on the class for that itself is very important because it's a vibrational upgrade. What else? Couple announcements. So we are doing a couple exciting things. I know many of you on this call took Starseed 1 with us and Starseed 2 and are part of that community. And so Casey is decided that on January 22nd, he is going to review all of Starseed 2, and I'm going to hop on and off through that process as well. And we're going to go through the entire class again from the beginning, which will be great for me because there's so much information in that class and lots to do. And as Kelly and not an angel, channeling an angel, I'm going to get to do it all myself. So I'm excited. So if you want to do that, you have to have taken Starseed 1. It is available right now if you want to quickly take it and catch up and join us on January 22nd to review Starseed 2. If you've taken Starseed 2, it is free. You don't have to pay again. You just show up, and we'll be sending out some kind of email so you can get listed for that. And if you haven't taken it, you're going to be able to take 1 and 2 in a bundle, but you got to get 1 first. So get it and get caught up and get ready. 1 is very intense and powerful, working with Atlantis, Lemuria, ancient Egypt, releasing all kinds of blockages, and it will start your new year off with lots of magic, which is exciting. And second announcement before we get into the channeling is the I Am creation class. I've been really dropping into that. Just you guys right now, just say, I am creation. That alone is really, really powerful. It starts to open up a space and an awareness to really remember that you are creation. And that's what Raphael, I believe, will be kind of hitting on a little bit today in the channeling. So that the more we can begin to embody that, the less likely we are plugged into an old way of being and thinking, and we're able to create at a much faster pace. So the I Am creation course is 4 weeks. It's very intense, powerful, beautiful. It begins March 11th. And my website guy has a little baby and he's away for the weekend. So it's still down at the sale price because he was supposed to change it today, but he didn't. So he'll probably change it tonight or tomorrow as soon as he gets to it. So it's still $50 off if you want to grab it now. It'll still be there until probably tomorrow until he gets that done. It's called I Am Creation, begins March 11th, and I'd love to have you. Okay, I think that's all the stuff. We got it all out of the way, all the announcements. So we are just going to get going here. If you have a phone nearby, you may want to put it on silence or turn it off so it doesn't disturb you from the channeling. And
the link will be in the email with the replay.
The link for
everything will be.
Yeah, we'll send out a replay email after this call, and you'll have the replay. You'll be able to get Starseed 1 at that $97 price, which is amazing. You'll be able to get signed up for 2. You'll be able to take I Am Creation, all that stuff. So we'll get that out.
I'm going to put the link in the chat right now.
Okay, it'll probably take several hours to get all that out tonight, but we'll get it to you tonight. Sometimes it takes a while to upload the videos. Okay, Casey will throw it in the chat box. Hello. We are very delighted to be here and to feel your energy, Casey, for it is very clear. We are excited to tap into that vibration, and to all of you, for we love and adore who it is that you are. And we recognize that you in this particular dimension are still operating in linear time and in space. And because of that, you have what many of you call a calendar year. And we understand that it has taken a leap or a change, and that there is a new number, and that it is the beginning of something new. And at this time, many of you start to reflect on your experience in your life and what it is you're wanting to do or to create or to bring to fruition. And so we are here today to support you in doing that, to receive that clarity, to embed and to anchor that into form and matter and structure so that you may embody it and step into it and recognize who it is that you are. And the reason in which Metatron's vibration and energy is here today and with you and very powerful during this time of transition into this new year of what you have labeled or called 2022 is that it is a very anchoring year of stabilization, and it is that there will be a lot of shifts occurring and a lot of change, and he wants to support you in feeling stabilized, in feeling anchored, and in connecting to the higher dimensions and the higher realms. And so his energy will come forward today as he will speak to you about sacred geometry and the building blocks of the universe, and how it is that many of this unfolds in other dimensions to project where it is that you are now. And as you become more attuned and familiar with these energies of sacred geometry, Metatron's cube, and the 5 platonic solids, and you attune to their energy and their vibration, you can embed and encode within them energy and imprints that you are wanting to align with so that they can become reflective in your everyday experience. And so we will move into that. But before we are doing that, is there anything in which you're wanting to know or to ask?
So, Raphael, the first thing that we want to address is, if you were going to say this year, 2022, had a theme, what would that theme be?
Well, in many respects, we had talked to Kelly about this in the last few days. For it is moving and shifting your perception and your perspective from being self-conscious to being a conscious self, or from being programmed to becoming the programmer. And what it is that we mean about that is that as you were born here and you came to Earth, it is that you stepped into a holographic field that you move through. And Metatron's cube is very much a part of that. It is that you cannot see it because in your limited perspective of the sleep state that you are in at most of the time, and that you have chosen to operate and move through this particular experience, you see form and matter as solid, and you perceive things in a certain way, and you are conditioned and plugged into a particular programming of information. And it is that you move with that information. You absorb it and you reflect it and you experience it and you share it. And it is what you know to be, in a sense, reality. It is what you understand to be your experience, to be reality as a whole. And what's happening is, if you were to look at it like, how would we explain it? That you were living in a certain paradigm, a certain belief system, a certain way of seeing the world. And it had parameters and it had boundaries, but it was what you knew. And you got close up to the edge of it, in a sense. And as you got close to the edge of it, it started to kind of wipe away or crumble, as if it was a projection or a movie screen that you have been so used to being in that you believed it to be reality. But the projector has slowed down and it's gotten glitchy. And in its glitchiness and its fuzziness, in a sense, there are pockets of bleed through of other realities that are sort of coming in. And what this is that it's like a breakthrough in the collective programming, that the programming is dismantling itself. And as it begins to do this, light permeates through this projected reality that you knew to be true, and it illuminates other perspectives and other ways of seeing, being, doing, feeling, sharing. And because of that, that light that is cracking through as the projector slows down and eventually the mechanism of the reality in which you knew to be crumbles and dissolves, and that projection begins to dissipate, you at first will feel a bit disoriented. And many of you are feeling disoriented as things are rapidly changing and shifting, and sometimes feel overwhelming and can be perceived from the outside, from looking at it, as if everything's falling apart. But it's not really that it's falling apart, it's that what you knew to be is dissolving, is dismantling itself. But as it continues to fall away, it's going to create a greater opening and a bigger space. And in that space, you're going to see into the void or the infiniteness or the 0 point. You're going to see into the fabric of the quantum field. And you're going to realize that the ego itself, by the collective and by many, had a need to show itself and to maintain a certain sense of well, in many respects, a wanting to be important, to feel greater or less than, to have greed or to be dominant. And that vibration held this structure kind of in place. but you're seeing beyond that, where you're looking beyond it now, and you're seeing what is true beyond the smoke screen, in a sense. And as that happens and this light starts to come in, it starts to reflect and to show, to bring authenticity and truth to that reality. And that sometimes looks uncomfortable, or it can be a shadow that one it's difficult to see. But as the light shines more and more on it, and it is recognized and it is noticed, it starts to dissolve, in the sense that it loses its grip and it loses its power, because it is the light is on it. It has been exposed, and in the exposing of it, it begins to melt away. And as it begins to melt away, you begin to see into this other realm, where you recognize that there is a field, and many of you call it the quantum field, or you might call it the holographic field. It is a space of infiniteness, but it is also the place where everything that has ever happened, and any word that has ever been spoken, any idea that has ever been thought, any building that has ever been created, any technology that has ever been born, anything that ever has been, ever shall be, and ever was, exists there. And you realize that you can vibrate and move with and toward any of it, and select it and become it, because you recognize that it is just a part of you, a residence of you. And it might resonate at a frequency in which you may have to adjust your state of consciousness to align with it, but it is all accessible to you at any time, the infiniteness of everything and all knowledge. Just like when you leave the body, and many of you are familiar with that, there is, in a sense, a review of your life, but it happens in a quantum way, in a holographic form, in that it happens instantaneously, where you are able to perceive and see every word that was spoken, everything that was felt, every gesture that you had, every act of kindness that you did, everything, and how it had an impact and an impulse, and how it rippled through the collective and affected others in what may be labeled a positive or a negative way, without judgment, just because it is the unfolding of your experience. And that is recorded. And that recording of that experience of everything is something that happens instantaneously. It's not as though you have to have amount of time. It happens in the sense that you are able to embody, to feel, to embrace, and to know it. But it also happens all at once. And that's where you're moving toward. You're moving toward a new perception of reality, in that it is all occurring simultaneously. At any time you can select to attune to any of it, and that you are not subjected as much to the programming of other energies that collectively have chosen to keep this facade going, that is no longer supporting the collective whole. And so it's dissolving. And in the dissolving of it, you become, in a sense, free from the shackles of a programming that are becoming dismantled, and the recognition that you are the programmer, that you are programming your reality, that you are programming through the intent of the mind, through the thought, through the word, through the feeling, through the action, all these elements that are a part of your energetic field, whatever it is that you are selecting and whatever frequency you're tuning to step into it and to experience it in that holographic field, to move in, through, and around and with it. And so 2022 is about an awakening to that, a recognition of that. And one of the reasons that we said it's moving from being self-conscious to becoming a conscious self is that many of you have been self-conscious about yourself, about what you do or what you say, where you go, how you behave, what others think about you, what you're going to become, what your purpose is, how much money you're going to have, what you're going to do, what your health is. All you're self-conscious about these things, and you try to change them or shift them or mold them to be something that reflects what you are wanting, and you're self-conscious of that. But what we're asking is to flip it in a sense, in that you become conscious of self, meaning you're fully conscious in self-realization and even self-observation without judgment of who it is that you are. You're completely and fully conscious of everything. You become the observer and the witness to every thought that you have, and you don't judge it, but you notice it. You step outside in a sense and look at the vessel as a projected form that is just a hologram of a part of self that is temporarily moving through time and space in this dimension, and you witness it, and you see the mechanisms of it, the behaviors of it, what it has been programmed to do, what it has been plugged in to believe, what it is, how it is operating, what words it says out loud, what thoughts it has when it's with another, what it's feeling and thinking in its mind daily and regularly. And you become conscious of that, the conscious observer. And as you become the conscious observer of it, you may choose to take note of it. Because you might think that, oh, I'm a positive thinker, or I am doing this, or I am doing that. But when you are really conscious of self, in self-observation as the witness to it, and you begin to record it from that perspective, as if it is being recorded, as we were talking, like sense for your life review, just that everything is recorded. And we don't want this is not to frighten you if you've done something you're not proud of. It's not something that you're judged. No one judges you at the time of death, contrary to many religious beliefs. It simply is a reflection and a recording of what has been and what is. The only thing that is judging it is self, a self-awareness of it, and a reflection to perhaps move and to begin to create in your next experience how you want to grow, to change, to evolve, so that you may raise your consciousness or vibration to the next level. And so when you have this review, in a sense, and you come back, you choose to come back to Earth, you make a plan. And this plan has multiple and almost what you might call infinite timelines and possibilities, but it has a building block. It has basic things in which you are here to learn, to experience, to know, to feel, and to do. And it is placed, and when we talk about it being recorded, we talk about your life after death is recorded, in that the cube within Metatron's cube, which is one of the 5 platonic solids, in a sense is living and dwelling in you, around you, through you, with you. And it moves with you, and it records, in a sense, everything. Now, this is different than the Akashic records, which we've talked about before in classwork. It's not about that. This is only particular to this lifetime here in this now moment. And inside this cube, everything from the moment you took your first breath to today of January 2nd, 2022 has been recorded. And from this day forward, because what is happening is that you're recognizing the dismantling of the programming, that in which you have laid down in the framework of the cube for the remaining years of your life, is subject to review, meaning that you can program it to unfold in alignment with the highest state of your evolution and consciousness, in a way in which you have more say in it, in a conscious awareness of now. For you had a a say in it before birth, when you are in a fully awakened state, before you dropped into the physicality of this dimension where much has been forgotten. But as you are waking up now, you get to have a conscious stay in the awakened state as things are changing and you're able to see more clearly, so that you become the programmer. And so as a new year approaches, it's an opportunity for you to take out the block or the cube within the cube. For there are cubes within cubes within cubes. In a sense, it's like those little dolls that fit within each other. It is much like that. And your life unfolds in this way. And inside now is the unfoldment of, if you were to contain a particular year with what you have designed in time to know it as 12 months. And so what you can do at the beginning of that cycle, and you might see the year in your mind as the months go in a circle. You might see them as they go in lines, like you're reading up and down many lines. You might see them that they go this way. You might see them as vertical. And so it is that everyone perceives the calendar and how it operates in the mind's eye differently. But as you become clear as how your mind is seeing it, you can place that within the cube, and you can dictate, you can program, you can choose with conscious awareness, where you're a conscious self, what it is that you're consciously choosing to place in that cube. Now, there's already a framework for the year 2022 for you, for possibilities, for the unfoldment of things that are already in place to some degree. And depending on your free will and your conscious decisions and choices, different timelines can split out and move in different directions, and things can occur. But you have more and more of a say in it than you ever have before, because you're awakening to your conscious awareness, to the fact that you can be the witness of it and that you can program it by having paying attention to what it is you're telling it. So the first step is that we ask for all of you to if you can, to get a picture of Metatron's cube, to look at it, to see it, its vibration, its frequency that it carries, and its power, to attune to all the different dimensions, to know that there is a dimensions that are layers beyond where it is that you are. And in that dimension, there are places where only geometry exists, where only circles and squares reside. There is places where only there is color and light, only there is the vibration of sound. And it is that those start to drop down and shift and change as you enter into this reality. But it is that Metatron's cube, in many respects, is an architectural blueprint or design or building map of your universe, of what you are experiencing in this reality to be real. And when you attune to it and to its different platonic solids and how they create universes, you recognize that you can utilize them and pay attention to them and to their shapes, and how some are round and some are straight, some are feminine, some are masculine, how they interact in perfect balance, and utilize them as tools to support you in creating, in a sense, your own holographic reality, your human experience, to have more of a say in it. And so the one particular solid, and we can talk about many and other Sunday calls or whatever you want to talk about, but the cube is the one in where the records reside. And it is the place in which you can imprint and place within that cube what your creation is for the year. So we ask you to either find a photograph or print a picture of Metatron's cube, or just draw a square, if nothing else. If you can draw it three-dimensional, even better, on a piece of paper, and then look at it and see the calendar year in it and mark it as the year 2022. And as you mark it as that, recognize that it is part of something much larger. It is just a sliver of your life, but you can embed and encode within it your intent month by month. So you might begin with the month of January, and you may bring in your intention for that month, what you are wanting to see, to unfold, to create, and then February and March, all the way to the end of the year. And begin to get some clarity, utilizing old-fashioned creation and manifestation skills such as the I am, speaking in the term of the presence of I am, working with the visualization and using your mind's eye to see it clearly unfolding, stepping into gratitude and knowing that it is there, working and feeling as if it is already and you are embedded and embodied in it, rather than moving toward something, knowing that it already is within your field. And as you begin to write down and get clarity in this cube, you want to embed it in a sense in the earth. You want to bring it to the earth and give it as a blessing, and ask Mother Earth if she will take it and if she will help it to bloom and to grow for you, to be in alignment with the highest aspect that brings you the greatest teaching, the most compassion, the most love, the most abundance, the most health, and the most understanding. And the stronger your connection is to source, to spirit, to the highest aspect of self, where you can look beyond that wall that's crumbling into the infinite space of that divine light that is shining at you, the greater your ability and capacity to take the actions necessary for the unfoldment of whatever this is to align with for 2022 occurs. So I want to remind all of you, before we talk about it a little bit further, the importance of your physical body and your vessel, because you are living right now in form as a physical human, and this is temporary. But it is that many of you are always asking, how do I strengthen my connection to synchronicity, to magic, to source, to my higher self, to the angels, and to the guides? And of course, there are many things to do that you are very familiar with: meditation and chanting and so many things. But if the body is filled with deadened vibrations, meaning that it is not in alignment with a lot of light, it will make it harder. And many of you have experienced food sensitivities or difficulty digesting certain things. And this is designed perfectly, because it forces many of you to have a clean and clear intake of food, because you really are more and more, as things are evolving and shifting, becoming that in which you are eating. And so we want to accentuate that for the year 2022 and beyond. It is essential that not only are you praying over your food and you're bringing intention to it and you're loving it before you eat it, but that you choose starting now to take in food that has very high light quotation, meaning that the sunlight has hit it for long periods of time, that its transport to you is not been far, that it is localized, and that you have touched it with your hands and cooked it with your hands and then paid attention to it and aligned with it, because it is the building block of your physical vessel. And it allows you to either have a deadening of a deadened spirit, meaning not a deadened spirit, but a blockage to your highest self. If the vibration of lower vibrational foods and beverages are in your system, it's going to make it much more difficult for you to have that deep connection and to experience the unfoldment of what you're wanting to bring to light. So this is essential for yourself and for the planet, to move away from things that are heavy or toxic, that are disconnected from the earth, and begin to go back to honoring Mother Earth and her beautiful vegetables and her fruits and the things that she gives so abundantly to you, and to be honoring them, to be blessing them, and to raising your frequency, because this will catapult you into the year with a capacity to be a greater vessel of service to others and to yourself, and to the unfoldment of your dreams and the creation of whatever it is you're wanting to bring to fruition. So we encourage this very much so in this year, as always, but even more so because you're going to want to keep yourself healthy and strong and clear, so that you have a clear mind and that you are not anxious, so that you can utilize intuition and discernment, that your connection to spirit is clear and strong. And so that was just a side note. But after you've taken your block and you've written down the year and the calendar, and you have some framework, a plan, of course, as always, you want it to be that or something better or greater as you surrender it to the universe. We want you to take it out then and to bury it. Now, many of you have worked with us with Merlin and the trees and the spirits around the trees, and all of that. And so if you have a special tree that you're working with or connected to, you may choose to plant it near there, as you have a symbiotic relationship with that tree, or you might first find a place in the park or your yard or whatever. But go, and you might go with a friend or in solitude, and just intend that the earth receives your intention, that it grounds it and it anchors it. Now, in doing that, we ask you to create another box, a box for 2022 that is the cube for the collective. And this is that you have a vision for each month for the collective, and you write that down, meaning, how do you see things collectively in the human evolution, the human race, its interaction, its way of being, connecting and unfolding? Do you see it becoming more unified? Do you see more ideas happening? Do you see technology coming up to create solutions to destructive behaviors of the past? Do you see an understanding and perspectives changing, and people coming together in love? Whatever it is that you see and you want to create collectively for the human race, that every child is fed on the planet, that everyone has water, and that all basic needs are met, that there's more joy bubbling up, that more beings are feeding themselves with energy and light that brings them closer to the sun and to spirit and to source, that more and more people across the globe are coming together in prayer and coming together in meditation, and they're waking up to their divinity, that the new beautiful children are coming in and being born with a new vibration that is raising the consciousness, that new leaders are coming forward with ideas that are bringing about solutions and connection and unity and light and love for everyone. And so write that down. And then we want you to do a third box or cube within Metatron's cube, just like they stack within one another, like the dolls might. And the largest one is the earth. And we want you to write in there what you see as the fifth dimensional universe, the fifth dimensional earth itself, what it feels like that you are living in a time in which you are bridging the third and fifth dimension, what the earth looks like, what each of you look like, how you feel, how your family and friends feel, how the planet feels, how lush and green it is, how the oceans are clear and the dolphins are jumping and swimming, and the whales, and attuned to the fact that the waters are clean and fresh, and the rain is coming and it is balanced, and the water is not too much or too less, and the storms begin to settle and subside, and the earth comes back into balance. Begin to to reverberate and see that and write that down and bring blessing to that. And then bring the cubes of your intent, and it may be on a biodegradable paper, whatever you choose, or it just may be the intent in itself. You might even just dig the hole and sit there and energetically place it without putting paper and the written word, or you may choose the written word, or you may choose to do it with a feather or a crystal, whatever it may be, that you embed the knowing of the cube of the information you are putting in for the year 2022, and then you are to open up the earth and you are to place it there. If you can do this in a ceremony with others, wonderful. Today is the new moon, coincidentally, is a perfect time for new beginnings, and much of the ground in many places is soft. So go and do this. And as you open it, say to the earth, I give this to you, and I thank you for receiving it, as you may ground this into reality. For myself, the collective, and Mother Earth, I love and adore you, and am in deep gratitude for the blessings in which you bestow upon me each day. And so it is. And then you leave it there and you let it go, trusting that that or something greater will occur and unfold. And you move into conscious self, becoming a conscious self, conscious awareness. And you begin to observe every moment and every day, your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and your actions. And when they are not in alignment with what you have written, when they are not in alignment with what you are wanting to unfold, you observe it, you notice it. You don't judge it, you notice it. You bring compassion to it. And just the noticing of it, just the witnessing of it will slowly begin to shift it as you choose to program it, meaning programming your thoughts, programming your words, programming your feelings toward that creation or algorithm, in a sense, that is reverberating or feeding back to you in a loop that in which you are sending out to it. It's just like in your reality right now, if you look at a cashmere sweater on the internet, within a few moments, you are getting an email or a notification by lots of companies that sell a cashmere sweater, because that is what you are putting out into the reality, and the algorithm is reflecting that back. And it is no different in what you are creating around everything. If your social media is all about raising the consciousness, and you look at yours and you see that the feed is all about love and growing and expanding and mindfulness and spirituality, the algorithm continues to feed you that which you are telling it you are liking. It's no different in life. And if you are looking at that everything's falling apart and that this is terrible and horrible and or violent things and so on, it keeps feeding you more of that. And so you then have a convergence of vibrational frequencies, and you begin to merge into the reality that you have programmed. You have programmed the computer to show you a cashmere sweater. You can program reality to show you what it is that you are wanting to create by telling it that that's what you're looking for, that that's what it is that you're in search of. And so that's all it is. It's the same thing in your reality. So when we have said to you for years and years and years, pay attention to what you look at on television, pay attention to images, pay attention to words, pay attention to what you're putting your energy at, we really meant it. And what's happening now is that as this is accelerating and the fabric of that reality is beginning to dissolve and break, and there's a glitch in the holographic system where that light is bleeding through, your ability to select in that empty space of creation the momentum is exponential, it's faster. So your choice of having self-awareness and being consciously aware is more valuable than ever before, because it's in linear time and space, which you are still dwelling in, it has sped up so quickly that it is reflecting faster, just like as the example on your internet. It used to be that you would have a thought about a cashmere sweater, and you might have to think about it for a while, and then you might have to drive somewhere very far, and you may have to go into a store, and you may have to look at it for a long time and try on different ones, and then you might get one, or you might get it on layaway, right? It may come and then you have it. Well, now you have a thought, and then you can press a button, and then it can be at your doorstep. And then the algorithm keeps feeding you more of it. And so you're inundated with it, right? And it's the same thing is happening with you and everything. It's all moving that much faster. It's becoming instant. And so we're not saying that you should be afraid of your thoughts or your words because they're instantaneously becoming something, but we can tell you that it is moving faster, and that being consciously aware is the key to the new year, and that you are the creator and the programmer of your experience and your reality. So do not allow others to say to you, this is what's going to happen, or that's what's going to happen. You decide what's going to happen. You can choose what's going to happen. Now, there is the framework of the bigger picture that's already been put in place in your cube, and then there is the collective agreements. And so you are one of many across the globe. And as you come together collectively with this new mindset of feeding the algorithm that in which you want to see, and it feeding it back to you, you change the collective consciousness, and it just reverberates and vibrates in the field and reflects back to you that which you put out to it. That's all it does. It's kind of like a game. But if there are doomsday movies all the time and the world is going to end and everything is falling apart, and that is what the collective is believing and harnessing into and getting their ego attached to, then that starts to reflect that. That does not mean to be in denial that the human race has made many mistakes, has disconnected from the earth, has created damage to the atmosphere, that you have to take action, that you have to reattune to nature, that you have to tune into your body, that you have to eat healthier, that you have to pay attention to your actions, your words, and so on. The contrary, exactly, you need to do all of that. We're not saying to be in denial of what's happening, but what we are saying is that you are choosing, and at a critical point in history, as to the convergence of realities that are going to take place and unfold, depending upon your conscious awareness, being a conscious self, rather than the old paradigm of self-conscious. So this is what we are wanting to share with you today, and to tell you that you are loved beyond words, and that you are not alone, that there are teams and teams and teams of angels and ascended beings here to assist you, and that old-fashioned praying is wonderful, that you can pray to us and that we are right here, that we cannot interfere or intervene without your permission, for you have free will. So call upon us. We are messengers of light. We come to serve, to love, to adore, to help you. So ask us, and we might come by showing you a friend or a rabbi or a minister. We may come by showing you a new way of eating or something to drink that will heal you. We might show up in a book, or in a friend, or an old lady or a neighbor that needs you to care for them so that you can open that part of your heart. We may show up in so many ways, but you have to ask. So we are here, and you are not alone. The year of 2022 can be magnificent and beautiful and filled with abundance and health, vitality, friendship, love, connection. And it requires you having a clear vessel, keeping your vessel clear, staying on your side of the street, honoring what you say, how you speak, and how you talk, monitoring your thoughts, looking at what you're feeding the algorithm, paying attention to the images you're looking at, making strong intent in what you want to create, and moving into complete and absolute knowing that it is. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so with that, we send to you all of our love and all of our light from the angelic realm, reminding you that you truly, truly are beings of light and that you are creation. I am creation. That's why we told Kelly and Casey we wanted to teach that in the next class, because we want you to fully take that wall that's crumbling and move it aside and step into that light and stand there in the awe of creation, looking out into the universe and seeing the beauty of it and recognizing that you created it. Everything you're seeing, everything you're looking at, everything at all that you created, that you are creation. And as you remember that and fully embody that, fully feel it on the deep cellular level in your DNA, then you can begin to shift the consciousness of the collective. You can change the Earth's course, and it can move into a place of great beauty and healing and prosperity for all. And so with that, we love you. Many blessings. Happy New Year and good day.
Good day.
Well, that was a mouthful. Raphael can really get going, huh? Here, hold on. Let me open this up to everybody so we can have a chat. So next Sunday, we'll have another call, and I'm excited about that. Everybody have a happy, beautiful 2022. I hope you'll join us for the Starseed class. If you haven't already taken it, it is truly wonderful. So get that one, and then we'll do Starseed 2 together. And I guess you have like 24 hours to get I Am Creation while it's still on sale, but it'll still be great when it's not on sale. It's going to be fabulous. So I love you guys. Mwah. I think you can unmute yourself. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Bye.
Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Love you.
Love you.
So
Bye,
much.
everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
So much love to you
Kelly.
all.
Bye.
Bye, Kelly.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Thank you.
Happy New
Love
Year.
and light, everybody. Love and light.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Blessings. You're welcome.
Thank
You
you.
say well.
Oh, thanks, guys. All right. Bye. I'm going to hang up.
Bye.
Bye, Kelly. Bye, Casey. Love you.
Love you. Bye, guys.
Love you.